Hello everyone, this is Richard Potter. I'm your instructor for Lit 2010 Interpretation of Fiction here in the summer of 2019. I hope everybody had at least a little bit of time off between semesters. We're going to get right to work in this class, and the purpose of this video is going to be to give you an orientation to the class in general, to Canvas, and to go over a few things here on the syllabus. I'm going to try to keep this to about 10 or 15 minutes. And I did one of these for my ENC 1102 class, which is a little different, but I had the same sort of idea, and it came out to 39 minutes. But I was already into it. I mean, there was nothing I could do. I had to just, had to go through with it. And I posted it, and now everybody hates me in ENC 1102. But they were going to hate me anyway eventually. So I'm going to try to keep this to 10 or 15 minutes. Let's say 15 minutes. Because there are a lot of things that I want to go over, and these videos can be helpful, and I do supplement the course from time to time, maybe not every week, with a video to review some of the readings, some of your work perhaps, and then in a case like this, just a kind of an introduction to the class. And I post them on YouTube for a couple of reasons. One is I can do it anytime. It's kind of quick, it's sort of easy to do, and there's closed captioning, which is a nice feature. I have access to the Media Center, of course, at the FAU, at the Boca campus, and they have good facilities, and I might try to do a few things this summer with them, but I've done it in the past. The problem with that is, the quality is just, of course, great. They can do editing and all sorts of things, but the lag time is a little bit long for my taste, a couple of weeks sometimes. And sure, I could work ahead, but sometimes with the work that we're doing, I like to sort of reflect and anticipate, and it's hard to sort of capture that, a month in advance or something. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. You can expect to see a few more videos. I'll try to make them as concise as possible. And one of the ironies, of course, going over the syllabus now is I'm trying to make this concise. I'm not doing a very good job so far yet, but I'll hit my stride soon. But the irony is that if we were to meet in class, yeah, I would probably be doing the exact opposite. I'd be stretching it out because we might have 3 hours the first day. So anyway, maybe keep that in the back of your mind as you're going through this video. You're watching this video thinking, oh my God, this is so boring. Just imagine if you had to listen to it in person for 3 hours. Actually, when we have the 3-hour classes, I pack in some reading, and it's not that bad. Okay, here's the syllabus. It's up on the Canvas site. I'm not going to toggle around too much. I have a tendency to do that, and I know that's not really very appealing if you're watching the video. The syllabus, speaking of irony, is sort of designed for administrators, not really for students, although it's supposed to be for students. The problem is that there's so many, bullet points, and there's so much language that has to be on the syllabus to adhere to this department, that college, etc., that it becomes kind of cumbersome. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to sort of race through it, and I'm going to sort of tick off the parts that I think are important. What the class is going to be like, how you're going to be evaluated, and so forth. Contact information, email, of course, is going to be the best. You can see that right here. My office is on the Boca campus, the movie theater building on the 3rd floor. I am going to be on campus this summer, probably more at the beginning rather than the end, but you're welcome to come by. We can make an appointment. Otherwise, I'll send out an announcement through Canvas, which, by the way, you should subscribe to the announcements on Canvas and the other things, the discussion boards and whatnot on Canvas. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And I'll send out an announcement when I'm going to be on campus and be like, hey, I'm going to be there from 1 to 5 today or something. And if you're around, you can stop by. Okay, look, there's a lot of stuff here I'm going to skip, but I'm not going to skip some of the stuff here at the beginning. The required texts. This is where I have a tendency to sort of labor over the descriptions here, or try to really appeal to you to get the books. There are 4 books that are required for the class. Each one is less than $20. I think for the most part, you can get them substantially less. The Art of the Short Story is the anthology. Typically, these anthologies run, $50 and up. This one is definitely less than 20, and if you get it used and you get it at Booksmart, I mean, you're looking at 10 or 12 bucks, and you're probably going to get half that back at the end of the semester. We're not going to read the whole thing. It's like 500 pages. No, I think it's like 800 pages. But we are going to be reading a few stories out of there. Maybe a dozen, 10 or so. So you're going to need it. I do post a couple of things online as needed, but it's probably worth it to get the book. Probably. You really should get the book for a few reasons, and not the least of which it's cheap, and you're not going to really save that much money. And if it costs you, part of your grade because you didn't have the glossary or you didn't have the biographical information at the beginning of the story or something like that, it's not worth it. The other 3 books here, these are all novels, and these I think you just have to buy. If you buy them now, The Bluest Eye is the first one we're going to be reading. You can get them inexpensive and you can get them used, and I'm not really particular about the edition because it wouldn't matter if I was, because people would get weird editions, or get the Kindle edition, which is totally fine, but the page numbers and everything are all, they're all over the place. So whatever, you get any edition you want, but you do have to get the books. And if you try to cobble some of these readings together online, again, it's not impossible, but I've seen students, their grades suffer because of it. And again, I don't have any interest in trying to make these books expensive. I think really, even if you just go to Booksmart and buy them at the retail, and that's the store just off campus in Boca. If you just buy them used or even new, I don't know, these books, you're probably looking at 50 or 60 bucks, and then you get 20 or 30 back at the end of the term. And I do use some of the books again. I'm probably going to be using these 2 books again in the fall, so there'll be a retail market. Anyway, it's a lot of reading. I'm not gonna make accommodations for people later on because you don't have the book. If you don't have the book, then you have to suffer the consequences. You have to accept the consequences. Again, we're not talking about a $90 book here. So the other side of that coin is like, okay, I get the message. You gotta get the books. The other part of that is, it's a lot of reading, and you're going to have to read this semester, and that's something I really put an emphasis on, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more when we get to the schedule. Okay, can I just skip things here? I'm skipping WAC. The Americans with Disabilities Act, I have a lot of experience working with the people in the office there. Every semester I do it, and I'm happy to make the accommodations and willing to help however I can, but I need to know, in the next week or 2, rather than at the end of the semester, because there's not much I can do to accommodate you at that point. So I'll be hearing from you if that's the case. If you're sort of, muddling through that process right now, contact me and maybe I can help. Otherwise, I'll just be waiting for a letter or a email. Counseling service, this is a nice resource here on campus. I can't say that I know a ton about it, but I think generally speaking, students don't take advantage of a lot of the services that are provided, as a student that you pay for here on campus. Okay, let's see, I'm not going to scroll as I'm talking. Oh my God, I'm going to skip everything here, I think, because you're online, it's online. Attendance policy, okay, you have to check in. I'll talk more about that when I get to the schedule. It says 3 times a week, that part that I just scrolled over super quick. And you should, like I said, subscribe to the announcements, and you should sort of be engaged with the class. But you can get away maybe with a couple of sessions of work online. You don't have to be checking in. I'm not going to be doing updates every day. Those things happen, but for the most part, you should be able to sort of stay to a set schedule. I'm skipping all this because I'm gonna run out of time. I'm gonna really make another 40-minute video if I'm not careful here. The guidelines for the papers and plagiarism, which is something that comes up, and I do a few things with the scheduling and with the reading and the quizzes to mitigate the possibility of that. But with online classes, it's always kind of a danger. But again, I'm going to curb some of that for the discussion of the paper, which is going to be in a few weeks, the first paper. Right? I mean, I could labor over it now, but it seems like I'd be not wasting my time, but it would be a little bit out of context. There's going to be 2 papers, one on the Toni Morrison book. That's going to be due, I think, in a few weeks, the first draft, and then there's a revision. And then at the end, you're going to be writing about the Michael Ondaatje book, Warlight, which I just highlighted. So just 2 papers, 2,000 words. I'll make those arrangements on the prompt. The quizzes, this is a big part of the class. That's about 30% of your grade. I think I have the breakdown here at the bottom. The quizzes are going to be 30%, and I think you're probably going to have 10 over the course of the semester, about once a week, on pretty much all the readings. And again, I'll talk a little bit more about the quizzes later on when I go over the schedule, but you have to read, and you're going to be accountable for the reading. Class participation, it's 10%. Might seem like an insignificant amount, but it's not too demanding. There's group work that you have to do, and if you do the group work and you make an honest effort, it can be, well, I'm reluctant to say an easy 10%, but it can be a doable 10%. You can read between the lines there if you want. There's the grade breakdown at the bottom. Okay, that's the end. That's only 4 pages. The 1101, 1102 syllabi are monstrous. So I'm going to go over here to the schedule. Okay? And the way that I have the schedule set up, it's that it really is kind of a regiment where every Wednesday, let's see, yes, even right here at the very beginning, I did it so it's kind of consistent. So every Wednesday you have a quiz, basically. And then you also have a post in the discussion board, these small group discussion boards. And then on Thursday, which I realize is a little bit of a quick turnaround, I want you to respond to your classmates. And then that's it until we get into the papers and things get a little bit more complicated or a little bit different, but essentially that's it. The reason I have stuff listed here on Monday, well, let me see. Let's go to here. Camus, the guest, a whole bunch of short stories. These are kind of short. These are supposed to be read on Monday, and really, obviously you're not going to be accountable for the readings until Wednesday's quiz. I'm sorry. Right, so you can read them anytime. So you could read them on Sunday and take the quiz on Sunday if you wanted to, and make your first discussion board post on Sunday. And the only thing you'd need to do would be to somehow figure out a way to sneak in your responses to your classmates. Look, and I say that like in a sort of worst case scenario, that you are just crushed with other classes and responsibilities and work and family and all of these things. That would be the only thing you really have to kind of finesse, is going to be those discussion boards. The other stuff, the quiz, the reading, the main first post of the discussion board, you can do that anytime. You can do that on the weekend. You can do it Monday, Tuesday, or if experience is a good guide, many of you will be doing it at Wednesday at 11 o'clock at night, which is totally fine. That's probably when I would do it. So no harm in that. But that's the way the schedule is going to go, and I'm going to scroll. I don't have the Monday, Wednesday, Thursday posted here at the top, but it stays consistent all the way through. Let's say we're at Module 4. June 3rd is the Monday to the 7th. You're going to read about 100 pages, because we started the week before, of the novel The Bluest Eye. And I actually put here the ending, the last sentence, because I know some of you have the Kindle, or are going to be using a different edition, so we can't really go by the pagination. And the chapters in this book are a little bit weird. The titles are a little bit weird, so it's hard to sort of gauge like that. So anyway, you're going to be doing a big chunk of reading whenever you want to do it. You could read a week ahead of time if you wanted to. But then by Wednesday at 11 o'clock, 11:59 p.m., you're going to have to take that quiz and make your initial post in the group discussion board. And then by the next day, I would like you to respond. If people are working ahead, and most of the time we do work ahead a little bit, you could sort of do everything in one fell swoop, right? You can make your discussion board post, do a little bit of rereading, take your quiz, and then maybe respond to your classmates. I do want to talk separately about the discussion board requirements, but in terms of the schedule, that's kind of what you're looking at. And the only other thing I would highlight, I might make a few little tiny adjustments here. The only other thing I would highlight here would be the amount of reading that you're going to be asked to do. And I think it's a lot. And I don't think it's too much because I'm not too demanding in other areas and we don't have an actual class. You know, you're saving, whatever, 4, 5, 6 hours a week by not attending the class. And sure, there might be a 30-minute video to watch. There might be a 30-minute group participation and quiz, but other than that, it's going to be a matter of, just spending the time reading. Okay, so the schedule's up there. I'm going to just leave it there. I should probably sneak in a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday header at this thing. I made this schedule and I reuse the schedule, the format, and I just do a lot of cutting and pasting. I'm sure there's like at least 2 or 3 mistakes. For the life of me, I can't get rid of this space in between. Don't even get me started. I'm going to move that over there. Let me go to the Canvas website. I'm going to try to wrap this up here in 5 minutes, okay? I know it's a little bit over. So everything we're going to be doing, right? You can access the syllabus and the schedule here. Everything we're going to be doing is going to be within the modules, right? And I have the date, the Monday of the module of when it starts. So module 1, since we're just getting started, I don't want to give you the impression that everything is going to be online, but I have posted both of the short stories, A Good Man is Hard to Find and Alice Walker's Everyday Use. I'm actually a little afraid to click on it to see if they don't work. It's going to be embarrassing. Oh my god, please work. And as far as the browser goes, I don't know. I've been getting this message for like 4 years now. If you have problems with Canvas or anything else in your life, you can just change the browser. So if you have, like me, I'm working on a Mac right here. If you're using Firefox, change to Safari and go to Chrome or whatever. Anyway, everything is going to be in the modules, so you don't have to really look around for things. Like for instance, the quiz that you're going to take is going to be, the first quiz is not graded, it's a mock quiz to give you an idea of what to expect, right? I think you're probably going to have something a little different than a preview or anyway, that's going to be in the module. So you can click on that. It's going to be a 30-minute time limit. The group work is going to be in the module. You click on that and there's going to be your instructions, and you're only going to have 1, not 8 groups. But eventually when we switch groups, you'll probably show another group, but you'll have it down by then. I mean, I really strive to make things as sort of transparent and simple as possible so we can focus on the content and not, navigating the website. So you get your quiz, you get your readings, you get this. The paper prompt is going to be here. Module 2 next week. I don't yet have the quiz up there because I don't want somebody clicking on it by mistake and burn their attempt. And likewise the discussion board. And I don't even have the other modules published yet. I probably will publish everything once we get in the swing of things. I'll publish everything so you can take care of it. I don't have to keep updating it, and you can kind of take care of it at your leisure. Although I do think it's a little difficult to work too far ahead with this class. It does sort of work better, I think, when you pace yourself along with the class. And this is another short story that I actually realize I got it offline, and I have to fix some of the formatting and the grammar, so I'm going to fix that and publish that later. But that's not till the 20th, the week of the 20th. All right, finally, let me go over here to the discussions. You're going to find your small group work down here. This isn't really necessary. And then you're going to have pinned discussions up here. And these are going to be sort of class-wide discussions. So for instance, I have something here on the quizzes, right? And this gives you a little bit more information about your expectations for the quiz and what to do if you miss a quiz or something like that, and just some sort of general strategies. And I have this here so you could post a question or a comment and we can kind of talk about it rather than keeping it buried in the syllabus, which is, you know, some of us are probably never going to look at that syllabus after the first day. Some of us probably aren't even going to look at it the first day. All right, so the quizzes, you know what, I should just say quickly my kind of philosophy here, because things happen, right? You open up the browser and you say, okay, I'm going to do awesome on this quiz, and then it crashes, or I don't know, somebody, you have a child that starts to cry and you got to go take care of, your child or something like that. I have to be, I feel like I have to be sort of flexible in those circumstances, but at the same time I have to be fair to everybody else, because yes, there are legitimate reasons why we might miss a quiz or burn our attempt or have some sort of technical issue, but also some people just don't do the work, and I feel like I should reward the people who do the work on time. So if you miss a quiz, it's kind of like a case-by-case basis, but I'll let you make up a quiz. If it's quickly, you can just take the quiz late, and I might deduct a little bit of points, depending on the circumstance. Or if you miss, maybe it's several days afterwards, I might have to give you a separate reading with a separate quiz, which is a little bit burdensome for everybody, myself included, but I feel like that's the best solution. That's the most workable solution. I try to work with you, but I do have to be fair to everyone. So if you have a question or comment there, you can post that. Let me go. I'm just going to say something. And the group work, quickly, if your group members, same thing here, you can post if you want. Group members, if your group members are awful and are awful at participating, I'm sure otherwise they're great, but if they don't post anything, that's not going to affect your grade, provided you try to add sort of I guess the best way would be to add responses to your own work, and the questions are designed that you could probably do that. But if you have a couple of duds in your group, and I use that word sort of lightly, I mix things up. In fact, that's one of the reasons I don't have the groups made up just yet for module 2 and forward, because if experience is any guide, a few people are going to drop, a few people are going to add, and I'm going to have to make adjustments from there. And I also put up here in the discussions, the pinned discussions, any questions or comments that you might have about the syllabus or about the course sort of in general. I'm going to leave it at that for now. Again, I think I've designed the Canvas site to be kind of streamlined and transparent, and I think that we can get off to a good start. The main takeaways: get the books, get them as soon as possible. Don't let that be a handicap for you, and get yourself familiar with the website, the Canvas website, and get ready to read, because that's kind of what's going to be the main focus of the class going forward. So good luck. I hope everybody gets off to a good start.